MMA Rants and Raves, UFC 137, George Rush St-Pierre versus Carlos Condit. Well guys, Nick Diaz is out, Carlos Condit is in. Before I get into this fight, I have a point that I want to make and a question. You have GSP who hasn't fought in a while. He's fresh, he's healthy, ready to go, obviously, with more time to spare. And you also have Anderson Silva, who looked like he got out of that fight pretty clean. Didn't look like he took much damage in that fight, from what I'm hearing. Now, my question is, did they make an effort? Was an effort made to possibly put GSP and Anderson Silva together now? Because in their past few fights, it looked like they ran into schedules, they had their own fights coming up, and GSP had the Ultimate Fight, I think, whatever it was. But now, none of these guys have fights scheduled, okay? These two guys are both ready to fight, and they have no upcoming opponents. After Diaz stepped out, GSP did not have an opponent right away. My question is, why were they so quick to right away get a replacement? Was there actually an effort to put GSP and Anderson Silva at UFC 137? That's what I'm wondering. Now, it could be a lot of things happened, because this fight has been talked about a long time. Now, I'm just thinking that maybe it could be that these two guys just want to stay at their weight classes, and I respect that. It's a lot easier said than done to make a fight like that happen. You have a guy, Anderson Silva has been so dominant at middleweight, GSP so dominant at welterweight. They want to stick to their weight classes, they're comfortable there. It could be that, because this was an opportunity to get that fight happen as far as I'm concerned. Unless Silva wasn't ready, because he just did fight. But I was just thinking about it, so I thought I just might mention it. Now, as far as the fight's concerned, Condit, really tough guy. And he's also a big welterweight, 6'2". He's held championship gold before. Former WEC champion. Never lost that belt. It was simply vacated. And, of course, now they're in the UFC. So, he's a champion fighter. I mean, the promotion just, no longer had it, and that was it. So he's a championship caliber fighter. And he's a really tough fighter. He holds recent victories over guys like Jake Ellenberger and Rory Macdonald, who's really coming onto the scene now. Really amazing young fighter. Holds a victory over that guy. The two quick knockouts over Dan Hardy and Kim, who looked good in his prior fight. This guy is a real beast. I mean, he's a tough fighter. His cardio is really good. He's got really heavy hands. And he's a comeback fighter. Even fight against Macdonald, he looked like he was losing that fight. And I mean, he came back in that third round. It shows. You see, he is a championship caliber fighter, because when a fighter's down, you can tell the mark of a true fighter is when they're down and they're able to come back and snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. That's how you can tell the heart of a champion, and he's got it. And as far as I'm concerned, this is a tougher fight for GSP than Nick Diaz. I mean, Condit is a tough fighter. I mean, you look at a lot of his fights against really tough opponents, and he seems to be getting better. You look at his recent fights, I mean, really quick finishes. So he's getting better. That's the thing about him. Now, as far as Condit's chance in this fight, he really has to get in GSP's face. I mean, he's got to attack constantly, be very aggressive, and try to land something, and then follow up with combinations. Because if he tries to fight any other game plan, as far as on the outside or being too careful, he's just going to get picked apart with takedowns and jabs and punches. But even being aggressive, he's got to be careful, because he could just be taken down. GSP's power the power of GSP is just unbelievable. I remember even in the Jake Shields fight, I mean, when he went for a takedown, he just dropped him so quickly. I mean, he has such power and speed. It's so difficult to defend against. But that's really his chance, is to be aggressive. And even that might not be enough. Now, as far as GSP, it's just the same story with all the guys he's fought. He's stronger, he's faster, His stand-up is so good, is just continuing to evolve and get better. His wrestling is by far better than anybody in the welterweight division. He may be the best wrestler in all of mixed martial arts right now. His ability to close the distance. I mean, I heard he tosses around light heavyweights in training. I mean, he's just a very powerful guy, a very gifted athlete. I mean, that's the thing. You see, the welterweight division, in my opinion, is the most stacked in the UFC. I mean, it is so deep. I mean, that's the thing. You got Carlos Condit, you have Jake Shields, you have John Fitch, you have Koscheck, you have BJ Penn, you got Diego Sanchez, and then you got this amazing new young fighter in Rory Macdonald. I mean, Jake Ellenberger. The list just goes on and on. All these guys could be fighting for a belt. They're all really, really good fighters. So, it's a really, really very deep division, but you just have one guy who's just so far above the rest in all facets of his game. So, I mean, as far as the fight's concerned, I see GSP being able to dictate this fight. He's going to do it with his wrestling. He's going to mix it very well with his stand-up. He's so quick. It's going to be tough for Condit to actually time him and to figure him out about what he's going to do. He's so mentally tough, very intelligent fighter. So, I mean, I think it's still going to be a good fight, but an intriguing fight to wonder what's going to happen. But I just see GSP being so well-rounded, especially at this point of his career. He's still evolving. So I'm going to go with a prediction here. I'm going to take GSP in this fight. So I'd like to know what you think about the fight, the UFC 137 card. If you think this may have been an opportunity for Silva and GSP to come together, but who knows what was going on with that. So please leave your comments below the video, rate this video, and subscribe. And thank you for tuning in.